If you enjoyed today's video, leave a like and subscribe. It's completely free and it helps me out so much and inspires me to make more videos for everybody on this channel. Anyways, let's get on to today's video. Before we get into today's video, I'd like to make an announcement. Starting from this video onwards, there will only be one shoutout per video, which will go to the first to comment. Today's shoutout goes to Ghosty, who gave me a nice comment on my latest video. Anyways, let's get on to the video. Today, we will be reading Ghostyshocks and the 3 Scares as part of the Seriously Silly Stories series. Here we go.
It was a dark and stormy night. 3 bears were moving into an old house in a spooky forest. Their terrible howls echoed through the trees and terrified the people of the nearby village. There was a huge hairy daddy bear howl. Woohoo! A middle-sized mummy bear howl. Yoo-hoo! And a teeny weeny terrible baby bear howl. Whee! The more the villagers heard, the more nervous they became. A story went around that their new neighbours were vampire bears. I can't bear that howling. Great sharp teeth they have. Thanks for the warning. The people of the village refused to go near the forest, and visitors would find them pale and trembling. Aren't you going to shake hands? They're already shaking, thank you. There was one girl who was more afraid than anyone. The slightest squeak made her jump. Even the tiniest spider made her scream. When anyone asked her name, she would reply, "It's Glenda Gobstopper. No, Good King Wenceslas. No, Ghostyshocks." 2 things frightened Ghostyshocks more than anything else in the world. The first was the dark, dangerous forest, and the second was vampire bears. Now, Ghostyshocks lived with her old granny, and they were terribly poor. Granny often suggested that Ghostyshocks should go try to earn some money, but Ghostyshocks was far too nervous to get a job. "Couldn't you do a little babysitting, dear?" her granny would ask. I might meet the 3 baby baboons, dear. No, 3 blind mice, dear. No, 3 bears. One foggy winter's day, Ghostyshocks' granny was in bed with a bad cold. "Ghostyshocks, the fire has gone out," she said. "You must go out to collect more wood." Ghostyshocks went pale. There was only one place to collect wood. "Oh, Granny, don't make me go to the fun fair, dear." "No, the fish finger factory, dear." "No, the forest." "I'm sorry, Ghostyshocks," said her granny, "but you're a big girl now and the house is cold." And so it was that Ghostyshocks crept outside, trembling from top to toe. She climbed the little path from the village and entered the creepy black forest. At that very moment, the 3 bears were waking up. Daddy Bear yawned a huge daddy-sized yawn. Woohoo! Mummy Bear yawned a middle-sized yawn. Yahoo! And Teeny Weeny Baby Bear yawned a teeny weeny baby-sized yawn. Whee! Down in the village, every door and window banged shut. Deep in the forest, poor Ghostyshocks huddled beneath a blueberry bush. Whatever was that terrible howling? It was the beginning of a bellyache. No, the big breakfast show. No, the bears. In their new house, the 3 bears got dressed and went downstairs. Mummy Bear poured out their breakfast. It looked delicious, bright and red and steaming. A big red bowlful for Daddy Bear, a middle-sized red bowlful for Mummy Bear, and a teeny-weeny red bowlful for Baby Bear. But oh dear, the breakfast was far too hot. Daddy Bear burnt his tongue and howled a huge Daddy Bear howl. Woohoo! Mummy Bear burnt her tongue and howled a middle-sized howl. Yoo-hoo! and teeny weeny baby bear bent his tongue and howled a teeny weeny baby-sized howl. Whee! Down in the village, everyone crawled under their tables and beds and hugged each other in fear. Deep, deep in the darkest part of the dark and dangerous forest, Ghostyshocks was jittery as a jellyfish. She ran off the path and hid in the undergrowth. "Why are you out all alone?" asked Deer. "My Granny is poorly and I've come to collect washing up liquid." "No, wild wasp droppings." "No, wood." At the bear's house, Daddy Bear said, "This breakfast is far too hot, Mummy Bear. I'll tell you what, let's have a nice walk while it cools off. Come on, Baby Bear, grab your wellies." So the 3 bears put on their boots and went out into the forest for a stroll. By now, Ghostyshocks had wandered further and further from the path. Twigs scratched at her face like wicked witches' fingers. To her horror, she realized that she was completely lost. "Excuse me, Loopy is a lettuce." "No, Lily is a lobster in a letterbox." "No, lost." "Well, why don't you ask that big house over there?" So Ghostyshocks stumbled up to the black door, with a shaky finger rang the bell. No one answered, but the door slowly creaked open with a creak. Ghostyshocks stepped inside. Her stomach felt knotted like knitted knickers, and her knees were knocking nervously. Before her was a large table. 3 places were set for breakfast. There was a big bowl, a middle-sized bowl, and a teeny-weeny baby bowl. What was inside the bowls? Ghostyshocks dipped her finger into the big bowl. "Ugh!" she gasped. "It's disgusting." She dipped a finger into the middle-sized bowl. "What is it?" She picked up the teeny-weeny baby bowl and stared at the red liquid inside. She remembered the terrible stories of the vampire bears, and suddenly she shrieked, "It must be blood!" Ghostyshocks was shaking so much she spilt the whole bowl down her clean dress. She screamed. She had to sit down before she fainted with fright. She found a huge chair, but it was far too big. She found a middle chair, but that was too hard. She found a teeny-weeny baby-sized high chair, and that was too small, but she sat in it anyway. Crack! The teeny-weeny high chair shattered into teeny-tiny pieces. "Ah!" screamed Ghostyshocks, and she ran out and up the twisting staircase. Gasping for breath, she stumbled into her bedroom. Then, to her horror, Ghostyshocks heard voices downstairs. "Hi! Someone's been poking their paws in my breakfast!" roared a huge, great voice. "And someone's been playing with my breakfast. How unhygienic," said a middle-sized voice. "And somebody's been mucking about with my breakfast," said a teeny-weeny voice, "and spilt the whole bowl." Ghostyshocks searched desperately for a place to hide. She pulled back the covers on a big, huge bed, but they'd easily spot her in there. She tried to hide in the middle-sized bed, but the bears would look there too. Then Ghostyshocks noticed a teeny-weeny bed in the far corner of the room. She crawled inside and pulled the sheets right over her head. "What? Someone's been sitting in my chair!" roared a huge, great voice downstairs. "And somebody's been sitting in my chair," said a middle-sized voice. "And somebody's been sitting in my chair," said a teeny-weeny voice. "And they smashed it into teeny-tiny pieces." Ghostyshocks heard footsteps creaking up the stairs. And coming slowly along the dark corridor, they came closer and closer and closer. The door was slowly pushed open. "Somebody's been lying in my bed," roared a huge, great voice. "And somebody's been lying in my bed," said a middle-sized voice. Ghostyshocks closed her eyes as tight as she could and lay frozen with fear. She heard the loud breathing of the bears as they searched the room, closer and closer and closer. Suddenly, a hairy paw grabbed the blankets on the teeny-weeny bed and tore them away. The three bears stared at Ghostyshocks. She was as white as a sheet and covered with a ghastly red stain. "Somebody's been bumped off in my bed," squeaked a teeny-weeny voice. "And she's still there!" "Woohoo!" screamed the big teddy bear. "Yoo-hoo!" yelled the mill-sized mummy bear. "Whee!" squealed the teeny-weeny baby bear. The three bears were terrified. They turned and ran for the door. "Wait," said Ghostyshocks, sitting up in bed. "I want to cut off our heads." "No." "Cook us for dinner." "No. Cuddle that little bear." "Promise you won't hurt me," said the teeny-weeny baby bear. Of course I won't," said Ghostyshocks. "Well, let's all go downstairs and have some breakfast," said Mummy Bear. "I've made some lovely tomato soup, and I'm sure it's cool now." "Tomato soup?" "Soup," said Ghostyshocks. Does that mean you're not... I thought you were... vegetarians, dear?" "Of course we are. Daddy Bear grows all our own vegetables." So the three bears and Ghostyshocks had breakfast together. "Can I have porridge instead of soup?" Mummy Bear washed Ghostyshocks' dress, and Daddy Bear said it didn't matter at all about the teeny-weeny high chair. He put all the pieces of wood into Ghostyshocks' bag for firewood. "We must come down and meet your granny and everyone in the village," said Mummy Bear. "We only wanted to visit, only we don't like leaving little baby bear." "Well, I could bring your granny in a barrow." "No, buy a buggy for baby bear." "Oh, babysit for you." "I'm the best babysitter for miles around," said Ghostyshocks. £3 an hour, £4 at weekends. You provide tea, coffee, and snacks. And easy on the tomato soup. "But wouldn't you be nervous out here with just baby bear?" asked Daddy Bear. "Who, me?" "Nothing scares me. We'll play in the forest and tell each other ghost stories. It'll be an absolute scream." The end. Okay, that's it for today. If you enjoyed today's video, please leave a like and subscribe. Bye!